أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الإنسان ما غرك بربك الكريم الذي خلقك فسواك فعدلك في أي سورة ما شاء ركبك صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم. Human being is made up of two matters. One is his outer body and the other matter is his inner soul, which is called ruh. So these two put together is a human being. Our body is mainly made of clay. Consists other things also, some part water, some part heat, some part air, some part war, but the most component in our body is clay and earth. This is why when we die, any animal, we put into the earth, put into the grave. After some time, whole of the body changes into the clay and the earth because we made from there. So it's just Allah Ta'ala has changed it to different form. But when we die, we put into the grave, we go back to our normal state of being clay and earth. So this is one part of our body, and the other part is the ruh. The ruh is an invisible power which is within us. The need of both are different. The need of the body to sustain the body, maintain the body, keep the body in good condition. We need to eat, we need to drink, we need to rest, we need to sleep, and many other matters. So these are connected with the body. We eat, the food turns into the blood, and the blood, it runs into our body, and our body works. Just like a car, the petrol is the main part. We put petrol in the tank, and the petrol runs into the engine, and from the engine the petrol is pumped, and the car, it works. This is exactly our same example, like a car. But after some time, when the petrol tank, it becomes dirty, clogged. So sometimes we need to clean the petrol tank. We need to empty the petrol tank and then clean it and then reuse it again. Exactly, this is our state. That what we eat and drink at a certain level, it spoils our body and we become ill, we become sick, we have stomach problem, and due to stomach problem, many other physical problems. So the root of that is the stomach. So we need to eat normally, but there is a time we need to clean our body from inside. So the fasting is cleanliness of the body, just like a petrol tank or a water tank. In some places people have water tanks, and the water is supplied through the water tank into the house. So after now and then, the people have to empty the tank because mold and insects fall into it, many things. So the tank is emptied, is cleaned, and then it's reused again. So exactly it's our body. We keep eating, drinking. So from inside, the body, it goes into a bad state. Just like a water tank needs to be emptied and cleaned, our tank also needs to be emptied and cleaned. So for that, Allah has kept the fast. By fasting, the effect of the fast upon the body is the body loses its excessive unwanted matters. But regarding us, because alhamdulillah there is so much food that there is no difference between Ramzan and the other days beside Ramazan. But those people who fast in a proper way, the lessen they're eating, then it shows up on their body, they lose weight, they lose the excessive fat. So this is a natural effect of the fast. Usually in hot countries, and people have not so much to eat, less to eat, the effect of fast is very obvious upon such a people that by the end of the month, they lose the weight of the body and they become fit. So this is one of the benefits of fasting, is the cleanliness for the body. Secondly is the ruh. The need of the ruh is different. The ruh does not need to eat. It does not need drink. It does not need to sleep. These are all the demands of the body. The ruh, it has nothing to do with these things, but they're both connected. The ruh cannot stay without the body. This is why we have to maintain the body. If a person does not eat for certain days, then the body does not have the ability to keep the ruh in it. The ruh goes out, the person dies. So, to maintain the body, we need to eat. But nevertheless, the need of the body is different, and the need of the ruh is different. The need of the ruh is the remembrance of Allah Ta'ala. Allah bidhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. Only with the remembrance of Allah Ta'ala, the hearts acquire its contentness and its satisfaction. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْقَاسِيَةِ قُلُوبُهُمْ مِنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. There is destruction for those hearts which are neglectful and away from the remembrance of Allah Ta'ala. So nevertheless, the need of the stomach is different. It's the normal food we eat and the drink we drink. So that is the need of the body. The need of the ruh is a remembrance of Allah Ta'ala. So by fixing the fasting month Ramzan Sharif, Allah Ta'ala has catered for both, to clean our body and purify our body from excess which accumulates in the body. So we fast in a proper way from morning till evening. Then here, although we don't see much effect, but even then some effect comes upon you. When a person he fasts, then in some amount the effect comes upon him. The second, the demand of the ruh, which is also emphasized by zikr of Allah Ta'ala. So in month of Ramzan Sharif, on one side we stop eating and drinking, which is the need of the body. So the body becomes pure, clean and purified. And secondly, the ruh, its need and its demand is for the remembrance of Allah Ta'ala. So in other days also more person remembers Allah Ta'ala, more his ruh is strong, and more his ruh is fresh, and more his ruh is content and satisfied. But especially in month Ramazan, even people like us, normal people, we can see a difference. And normal Muslims, as soon as the month of Ramazan starts, there's a change in their life. There's a change in their routine. There's a change in the system. Many people who don't perform salat out of Ramazan, alhamdulillah, they start to perform salat. So that is the food of the ruh. Many people out of Ramazan, they don't open the Quran Sharif. But as soon as the Ramazan Sharif comes, they start to recite Quran Sharif, make zikr. Outside Ramadan, the TV is on 24 hours in the homes usually, or whatever time. But in many homes, soon as Ramadan Sharif comes, the plug is taken out, there is a cover put on the TV. So these are the obvious effect, ruhani, these are spiritual effect of Ramadan Sharif, that a Muslim is more inclined towards the remembrance of Allah Ta'ala. And alhamdulillah, we can see the effect of that the ability of virtue increases. Alhamdulillah, people give zakat in this month, people give charity in this month more than in other months, and you will see at home, alhamdulillah, everyone is well off, so there is no need. But even then, sending food to neighbors, sending food to relatives, so this is all part of it. The urge of virtue increases, and especially in our poor countries where people are poor, and those people that are given to them, they make a special, they give attention, and they're giving money for food, clothes, etc. So these are the effect of Ramadan Sharif on the ruh. When a person increases in virtue, alhamdulillah, in madrasa, even out of Ramadan Sharif, alhamdulillah, we are engaged in performing salat regularly, reciting Quran Sharif regularly. But even then we can see in Ramadan Sharif, it seems to become more easy. The heart is more inclined. So this is the effect of Ramadan Sharif. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the most obvious example of the person who's most affected by Ramadan Sharif. Out of Ramadan Sharif, Rasulullah says, if you look at his ibadat, fasting during the day, twice in a week, 3 days in a month, and beside that, his salat, beside the 5 times first salat, if you look at his salat, ishraq, chast, after wuzu, tahiyyatul wuzu, going into masjid, tahiyyatul masjid, and on many, going out on a journey, before going out on a journey, performing 2 rakat, coming back from journey. So that was the normal way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam outside Ramadan Sharif. But in Ramadan Sharif, there was no limit to his ibadat. From the beginning, he would start fasting, he would make dua of Quran Sharif with Jibreel Salam every night, and as the Ramadan Sharif would pass, his effort would increase. In the last 10 days, there would be no limit to the ibadat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, night and day. That night time, he would make i'tikaf in the masjid. The last 10 days usually, he would stay awake, make ibadat to the extent that his ruhaniyat would increase to such an extent that one fast has come to the end. He would start his next day fast for Maghrib time. The usual time for fast is Subha Sadiq, beginning of Fajr. But in the last days, Rasulullah's spirit would increase so much that soon as the Maghrib would come, he would start the next day's fast, which is called Some Visal. So that is the effect. For example, somebody, he takes a high-powered vitamin capsules, tablets, and he's got so much strength that he does not need to eat. And that capsules and vitamins sustains him for 2-3 days. So for people like us and the people who do such a thing, they take high-power vitamins, we sustain them for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So this is something physical. We can see in people that they take such a medicine or such a vitamins, and it sustains them. They feel the energy in the body without eating for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So that's a physical effect. Rasulullah sallallahu spiritual effect, that performing Taraweeh, fasting, it would affect his spirit to the extent that in the last days of Ramadan Sharif, he would keep Some Visal, meaning when Maghrib would come, he would not make iftar. Instead, he would start the 2nd day fast, 3rd day fast. So that is usually a person cannot cope. If you don't make iftar, if you don't eat from Maghrib when we start our second day fast, we might be able to do for one day. But if you do for 2-3 days, the person's life will become into danger. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his spirit would increase to such a level that without eating and drinking, he could sustain, because of the ruh became so powerful. Just like the example that somebody took high-powered medicine, high-powered vitamins. So because the effect of that in his body is such that without eating for 2-3 days, he can sustain himself. So this is the effect of spirit upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he would fast continuously without having making iftar. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he stopped the Sahaba doing it. He said, don't follow me in this act, because we are not to the level of Rasulullah. We could not cope. If somebody does that for 2-3 days, he might pass away, he might die. But nevertheless, here we can see the two different effects of fast. That physically, the person's body becomes clean, the person's body becomes in a good condition, his stomach comes into good condition because it's emptied, just like a water tank is emptied and cleaned. So that is a physical effect on a person. And the spiritual effect, the inclination towards virtue, ibadat, remembrance of Allah Ta'ala, increases. So if these two things comes upon a person, then alhamdulillah it's a good sign. And according to his ability, according to his efforts, these two things will come upon him. By the end of Ramadan Sharif, if somebody has kept Ramadan Sharif in a proper way, fasting and carrying out the ibadat, inshallah ta'ala, his spirit will be so high that it will sustain him for the whole of the year. It will help him to sustain him and be on the path of deen and remembrance of Allah ta'ala and ibadat for the whole of the year. So this is the wisdom of fasting, that by fasting we clean our body. And with that, the ibadat which are attached, recitation of Quran Sharif, Sheikul, Taraweeh, and Tahajjud, if somebody carries them out on the appropriate time in a proper way, it will increase his spiritual state, it will strengthen his spiritual state, which will help him to maintain him for the whole of the year, inshallah ta'ala. If you look into the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam Sharif, this is a lesson we acquire from Rasulullah sallallahu. His eating was very, very less, and his ibadat was very, very much. His spirit was so high that the spirit, the ruhaniyat, it maintained his body also like a good engine. That if a car has a good engine, the body may not be very good. The body may not be in a very good condition, but because the engine is of good condition, it will maintain the car, and the car will be useful. So this is also same with us. The stronger person's spirit, this is why we see, usually in our masajid, we see elderly people for the salat, for example. We'll see usually elderly people, young people, they're sleeping. Also performing salat, you'll see elderly people, their back is bent, but they perform all the sunnat and nafal, they recite tasbihat, zikr. In fact, their body is weak, but because of their ruhaniyat spirit, it carries their body. And the vice versa, we see youth who's got strength in the body, energy in the body, but because they don't have that ruhaniyat, they find difficult even to perform the Fard Salat with Jamaat. If they perform Fard Salat with Jamaat, they find difficult to perform Sunnat and Nafal. So the body is strong, but the ruh is weak, so the ruh cannot carry the body. And the elderly people, the body is weak, but the spirit is strong. So the spirit, the ruhaniyat, it carries their body. So this is the month of making our ruhaniyat spiritual cleanliness and strengthening our spirit. More person increases the spirit, a whole 12 months, especially month of Ramadan Sharif, it will help him, inshallah, to to stay steadfast on deen and maintain the ibadat of deen after Ramzan Sharif also. Allah Ta'ala give us tawfiq for it. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.